Hey guys, Matt Gaming here, and today I'm doing some more of the Within the Walls series Christian commentary, which pretty much is, yeah, what I just said. So I have a story, if I can find it, there it is, that I'm going to say, and this video is going to be about the patriarchs the of faith, pretty much. So this is from Genesis, straight from Genesis 12, chapter 12, uh, until chapter 18. So it's kind of long. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs long. So I'm just going to say that, and this is the story of Abraham. Then I'm going to briefly go over um, Isaac, Jacob or Israel, then Joseph. So here we go with Abraham. God looked about him and called Abram. By the way, Abram and Abraham are the same people. God said, "Go forth from the land of your kinsfolk and follow your father's house to a land that I will show you." This land was the land of Canaan, which God promised to give Abram and his descendants forever. As soon as Abram heard God's call, he and his wife Sarai gathered their family and property. They started out from the town of Haran in northern Mesopotamia on the long journey to Canaan. This journey symbolized a journey of faith that we make throughout our lives. In Abram, God chose a very unlikely person to begin his people. Abram was 75 years old. He was neither famous nor powerful, and his wife Sarai could not have children. Yet when God spoke to him, Abram responded to God. He did not argue with God. Abram had great faith and trusted completely in God's will. In fact, Abram is our most important Old Testament model of faith. When Abram and Sarai arrived in Canaan, God tested their faith repeatedly. They went through many difficult situations, and they tried to make the decisions that God wanted them to make. By telling us about these tests, the biblical this is third person, by the way. The biblical writer shows us that Abram and Sarai, through chosen by God, struggled like all humans to keep their faith in God. So now this is, I believe, more of the Bible. This testing by God strengthened and purified their faith, and God decided to make a covenant with Abram. God said, "I am God Almighty. Walk in my presence and be blameless. Between you and me I will establish my covenant, and I will multiply you exceedingly." By the terms of this agreement, Abram and his descendants will serve God and follow his ways in return. God will give Abram a son and make a great nation of him. To indicate that they were the beginning of new life as a new people, God changed Abram's name to Abraham and Sarai's name to Sarah. Sometime later, God came to Abraham throughout the mysterious visitors who appeared at Abraham's tent. One of the visitors predicted that Abraham and Sarah would have a son. When Sarah laughed in disbelief, he asked, "Is anything too marvelous for the Lord to do?" As predicted, Isaac, Abraham and Sarah's long-awaited son, was finally born. So then it comes in. I'm going to do this in my own words now. Abraham was tested once again by God and listened to God, and God said that he had to go on top of a mountain and kill Isaac as a sacrifice. Right before Abraham picked up his axe and was about to slay his son, who was about 10 at the age, God said, "No, I was just testing your faith. You don't have to kill him." And then that goes on to the story of Isaac, who's married to Rebecca. I'm not really going to say anything about this. Had a son named Jacob. Then Jacob, I'm going to go. Jacob's not really important besides that he had 12 sons and their name was Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. These are also the 12 tribes of Israel, which I believe should still keep going in Israel. I don't think anyone knows what they are, but they're still going. Don't worry. And the story of Joseph is Joseph was the 11th youngest. I mean, the second to youngest son in uh, between his brothers, and he usually got everything. And he got one day, his father gave him a rainbow coat. His brothers got so jealous that they took him to a hole and threw him in the hole. God helped him get out of the hole, and Joseph went to a place in the desert, somewhere in the desert, not really telling where, but somewhere in the desert, and then he worked there pretty much, and then he was imprisoned there, and it gets really crazy, guys. I'm trying to do this all from memory, and I have a really hard time. But anyways, one day a huge famine hits, and I think that's a famine, yeah. Huge famine hits, and his brothers and father had to go to wherever he was and get some food because the famine won't let them grow their crops. So Joseph tested their faith, and because they didn't know that it was him because he looked all different and older. Once they finally realized it was him, well, then of course, yeah. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. No, it's kind of really messed up, but that's pretty much the story of our patriarchs in faith. It's really not. It's important just to Jacob part because of the 12 tribes of Israel. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Sorry, I thought it was going to be less than 7 minutes long. But next is going to be the story of Jesus' death, which isn't in order because the story of Moses is in order. But just because it's Lent tomorrow, then that's why we're going to go and do that. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. So, next is the story of Moses. Next is the story of Jesus, technically in real time, but really, it's the story of Moses. So, I'm going to be doing both of those stories. Again, I got this from the Godly Dot. Go subscribe to him. And I hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe. Be sure to check out all of the videos of this series, and especially to tune in for the next one because it's actually a really, really great story. So yeah, peace, I guess.